the channel. Welcome to UK 2000's version of Glasgow Prestwick for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. In today's flight, we're taking a look at the iFly 737-8 MAX, and specifically the SP1 version. And I'm asking the question, with SP1, has iFly finally knocked PMDG off the top spot for the 737? And if PMDG were to launch a MAX version of the 737 and you had this one, would you still go out and buy the PMDG version? And I'm going to try and answer that question on board this Ryanair 200 version of the 737 MAX 8 on a flight from Glasgow Prestwick down to Malaga in Andalusia. Prestwick is the closest airport to my home, but I don't fly from it that often because Ryanair, the only commercial operator at this airport for passenger flights, doesn't do a lot of destinations. But in fact, about 3 years ago, at the time of editing this video, I did fly from this very gate on board a Ryanair 737-800 from, of course, Prestwick down to Alicante. And of course, guys, I did review that flight on the main channel. As you can see, GSX Pro is loading the bags, but I couldn't work out how to get GSX passengers boarding this aircraft. This is only my third time flying the SP1 version of the iFly 737-8 MAX. And to be honest, guys, I'm still coming to the nuances between this aircraft and, of course, the PMDG version of the 737NG, which I'm much more familiar with. First of all, the biggest difference between the original iFly 737-8 MAX and this SP1 version is, of course, the flight tablet. This one is night and day better than the complete rubbish that you got in the original version of this aircraft for Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin door is about to be closed. For flight safety, the cellular functions of electronic devices, including cell phones, must be turned off during the...
And yes, guys, there are cabin sounds in this aircraft available if you want to use them. To be honest, because I use say intentions, I tend to keep them switched off most of the time. And just like the PMDG 737 that's currently available for the sim, the cabin is extremely well modelled. In fact, iFly have gone a step further by providing airline-specific interiors. As you can see, we're on board the Ryanair version. If you fly in the Southwest version of this sim, you will see their interior, and just like the PMDG, you can open and close the overhead bins. But if you're into your gimmicks in the sim, guys, the iFly 737-8 MAX takes it a little bit further. Yes, guys, the toilet actually flushes.
It is also prohibited to consume alcohol that you have brought aboard.
So from an interior perspective, this iFly 737-8 MAX is extremely well modelled. And of course, what makes the 200 version different than the normal 737-8 MAX is, of course, the two double overhead wing exits on either side of the aircraft. And as most of you are probably aware, Ryanair worked with Boeing to get this 200 variant because they wanted to cram more seats in and to meet the various regulators that needed another two exits in an emergency. So this is the next big difference between the original iFly 737-8 MAX and the SP1 version. You get the normal 737 MAX and you also get this 200 version in the same pack. And as I said in the last episode, it's completely free. Sorry, I should probably explain that it is free for all of those who had previously purchased the iFly 737-8 MAX. And back in the cockpit, the fantastic iFly modelling just continues. But it isn't perfect, guys, because despite this AFB being a million times better than the version in the original iFly 737 MAX 8, I still find it a little bit cumbersome, clunky, and it's really hard to navigate. But in fairness to iFly, this is only my third flight in the aircraft, so it may still be me just being a little bit unfamiliar with the AFB. But since I'm pitching it against PMDG in this episode, I would certainly say the PMDG AFB is a lot more intuitive and easier to use.
Copy, Captain. Welcoming the passengers now. Ladies and gentlemen, a massive welcome aboard flight. We're absolutely thrilled to have you with us today. Buckle up, sit back, and get ready for an unforgettable journey. Our fantastic crew is here to ensure you have a brilliant time. So don't hesitate to ask for anything you need. Now let's get this show on the road. Jesus!
Yes, guys, I'm afraid Two-Tone Murphy has been demoted from first officer to cabin crew for this flight down to Malaga. Prestwick Tower, good morning. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee looking to pick up my IFR clearance to Malaga.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, information Foxtrot is current. Cleared to Malaga. After departure, fly radar vectors, stud by, runway 20, initial climb 4000, squawk 6253.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, cleared to Malaga as filed. After departure, radar vectors to Sudbury, runway 20. Could we change that runway to runway 12 please for Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee? And this is where things started to go wrong in the flight for Say Intentions. If I hadn't been reviewing the iFly 737 in this video, I would have been calling it the Say Intentions shit show. But I'll explain a little bit more as we get into the flight. Squawking 6253.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, runway 20, line up and wait. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, read back correct. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, push and start approved. Let me know when ready for taxi.
I certainly didn't need push from this stand, and I hadn't requested startup, so I've got no idea what Say Intentions is playing at in this flight so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome aboard Ryanair Flight 6 Sierra Yankee to Malaga Costa del Sol. My name is Murph, and alongside my fantastic crew members Sarah, Liam, Eve and Jack, we are thrilled to have you with us today. Please take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. We're here to make your journey as enjoyable as possible. Now sit back, relax, and let's get this adventure started. Jesus!
Not even Jesus is going to be able to help Say Intentions in this flight, I'm afraid. And where the Say Intentions traffic injector was trying to send this Ryanair 737-800, God only knows. Without a doubt, the sound modelling on this iFly 737-8 MAX SP1 is really good. I mean, it is absolutely amazing in fairness. Honestly guys, if you've mastered the PMDG 737 next gens, you're going to have absolutely no problem with this aircraft. The systems are pretty identical, with a little bit of modern sprayed over it. Or as my good friend the Real Airbus pilot said a few months ago, they've just slapped lipstick on a pig. I think he was being a little bit unfair being an Airbus pilot. Prestwick Tower, Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, request taxi runway 12.
Taxi to runway 20, Golf Bravo, Quebec Sierra Bravo.
Prestwick Tower, Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, request taxi runway 12.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, runway 20 taxi via Romeo. Runway 12 is not available for departure. Expect runway 20.
Okay, expecting runway 20. This weekend I've never been closer to cancelling my Say Intentions monthly subscription. SimBrief expected us to depart on runway 12 and checking out flight radar at the time I was making this flight, the departure runway at Prestwick was also runway 12. So why Say Intentions was sending me to runway 20, I've got no idea.
We are expecting a flight time of approximately 3 hours and 5 minutes. Please pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration as it contains important information for everyone, even our frequent flyers. Fasten your seatbelts by inserting the metal tip into the buckle and pulling the strap to tighten. Remember, your seatbelt must be fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated. Please return your seatbacks and tray tables to the upright position and ensure your window blinds are open for takeoff and landing. All mobile phones and electronic devices must be set to flight mode in the aircraft. Special life vests for children are available. Floor level lighting will guide you to the nearest exit, which is clearly marked. Now there are 2 exits at the front and 2 at the rear of the aircraft. The nearest exit may be behind you. In case of evacuation,
commercial jet operations at Prestwick, runway 20 is very rarely used. Runway 1230 is such a long runway, even in crosswind situations, it's probably better for these aircraft to use the main runway rather than the shorter 20 runway that Say Intentions seems to be sending me. And as I said earlier, the Say Intentions shit show continues in this flight, not just here in Prestwick, but when we get down to Malaga as well. But you'll just have to stick with this video if you want to see that. As you can see, we're approaching the control tower and the Prestwick Flying Club, which provides an excellent little GA facility at my local airport.
Approaching 20.
Prestwick Tower, Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, request backtrack 20.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, runway 20, backtrack approved.
Backtrack approved, runway 20, Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee.
Approaching runway 20.
One thing for sure, this wasn't going to be a long backtrack.
On runway 02. 200 available. Approaching 30. On runway 20 remaining. 5,900 feet.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee. We're ready for departure on runway 20.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, runway 20, winds 190 at 17, cleared for takeoff.
And yes guys, Camille is my first officer, presented of course by Say Intentions, and that was another pain in the backside because Say Intentions was being very slow.
Cleared for takeoff runway 20. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee. On 129.455. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee.
210.
Climbing flight level 210. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee. Control. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee. Good morning. At 4,000.
But anyway, back to reviewing the iFly 737 MAX 8. As you can see guys, the cockpit has had a massive piece of work done on it. It's absolutely beautiful, and it even has a weather radar, something the original version didn't. I know that hardcore simmers are going to cringe with what I'm going to say next. This flight is scheduled to take just over 3.5 hours from Prestwick down to Malaga. So my usual MO would be get the aircraft up to its cruise and select 2 times or 4 times sim rate. And this, guys, is where the original iFly 737 MAX 8 absolutely failed. Even when you went just 2 times sim rate, it wouldn't hold a flight plan. So right now I'm set at sim rate 2 and approaching a waypoint with a right hand turn. The question is, will the aircraft at 2 times sim rate make that turn, continuing to follow the flight plan in the flight director?
Gemstone 34 November, flight level 180.
Gemstone 34 November, London Control, roger.
I'm pretty impressed at that turn on 2 times sim rate. It handled the turn perfectly. It steered back onto course. What more can you ask for? But I'm going to tell you guys, at 4 times it doesn't work. So if you're wanting to take the aircraft up to 4 times sim rate when you're in cruise, you're going to have to be sitting by your computer, guys, because the aircraft can't follow the flight director at 4 times, unlike the PMDG. But I don't want to knock the iFly guys, because I think they've done an absolutely amazing job with this SP1 upgrade. Adding the fantastic cabins and of course the 200 variant, I think they've done an amazing job. But is it better than the PMDG? Well, you just have to wait to the end of the flight to find out my opinion. Okay, I'm going to let this aircraft continue on up to cruise altitude, which is flight level 360 for this flight down to Malaga, and then I will come back to you in the approach, where of course the Say Intentions shit show continues.
Contacting London Control on 133.6, Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, expect the Vulpe 2 Alpha arrival. Anticipate descent in about 20 minutes. Just say the word if you'd like to start down earlier.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, Malaga approach, identified. Buenas, expect the ILS Zulu, runway 13 approach into Malaga. Verify information Tango.
The approach is where Say Intentions really started to grind on me on this particular flight. And in the end, I actually contacted my good friend, the real Airbus pilot, to get his advice, because I know he's flown into Malaga loads of times. With wind directions as they are today, normal operations in Malaga would be arrival, runway 12, departure, runway 13. And this is exactly what SimBrief believe I should be doing also. Now, this is the first time that I've ever flown in to Malaga using Say Intentions. I've flown in plenty of times using Beyond ATC, and it has always given me runway 12 when the wind is in this direction, of course. When I told the real Airbus pilot what happened on this flight, his response was less than polite, and it's certainly something I'm not going to edit into this video, but he basically said that the approach into Malaga should have been runway 12 with a 12-mile final.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our final approach into Malaga. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Make sure your tray tables are put away, your seats are in their full upright position, and your seatbelts are fastened. The weather in Malaga is looking lovely, so get ready for some sunshine. Our assigned gate is Terminal 3, Gate 48. Thank you for your cooperation.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, descend altitude 5,000 feet.
Jesus!
As you can hear, Two-Tone Murphy is still working hard down the back. And while he might think that he's ready for a Costa del Beach, what he doesn't realise is he's just heading straight back to Prestwick on the returning flight.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, crossway 513 at altitude 4,000 feet. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, turn right, heading 155, vectors for the ELS runway 13 approach.
Approaching runway 12 or even 13 as we are today into Malaga, you are coming in over a mountain range, very high terrain that in the real world I've experienced a lot of turbulence. It's pretty normal as you're approaching Malaga from this direction. So following the published approach is certainly advisable, but in talking again to the real Airbus pilot, you do tend to get vectored quite a lot into Malaga, but you still are being vectored with a 12-mile final.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, roger, continue approach. Fly heading 155, descend altitude 4200 feet.
But to be quite honest with you guys, on this approach, I had to ignore the Say Intentions vectoring because they were going to have me flying into a mountainside. And even if I'd missed the mountains, I would have certainly been turning on to final with only a few miles to spare. But as you can see, the published approach looks great.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, turn left heading 175.
Again, I just ignored send tensions. I've got no idea why she was trying to vector me this way. But remember guys, I'm not a real world pilot, and of course I could be wrong.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, 8 miles from FI13. Turn left heading 160. Cleared for the ILS runway 13 approach.
I would say that the send tensions ATC was probably correct with that vectoring, but again, I'm just going to ignore and follow the published approach.
Sierra Yankee, contact Malaga Tower on 122.1.
Malaga Tower, Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee. Good afternoon, established on the ILS runway 13 approach.
2500.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee.
Flight slow. Minimums. Flight slow. 100. Flight slow. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Disable. Contacting ground on 121.705. Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee.
Ryanair 6 Sierra Yankee, Malaga ground, taxi to Terminal 3, Gate 48.
Welcome to Malaga in the Costa del Sol, and the airport scenery that I've got installed here today is from MK Studios. As I've mentioned a few times during this video, this episode is all about the iFly 737-8 MAX and not the shit show that is send tensions. I was very disappointed in send tensions during this flight. But I'm not going to drone on guys, it's probably for another episode. So back to the question that I asked at the start of this video. Has the iFly 737-8 MAX and the SP1 version knocked PMDG off the top spot for the 737s? The bottom line is, guys, if you want to fly the next generation 737s, you've no option but to buy PMDG. And currently, at the time I'm making this episode, if you're looking for a 737-8 MAX, certainly in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, this is your lot. Unless PMDG actually release a MAX variant of their 737, the iFly is all you have right now.
Disarm and cross-check cabin doors.
Unusual for Ryanair, our passengers today are getting a jet bridge. But in real life, guys, it does actually happen, but very rarely, I believe. But I suppose I really should answer the question, in my opinion, is this iFly as good as the PMDG 737 next gen? Well, my final thoughts are, it is good, it is very good, but it's not PMDG good, I'm afraid. While I accept, guys, that I'm not fully familiar with the EFB yet, I still find it rather clunky compared to PMDGs. And then considering that the aircraft currently can't follow a flight plan at 4 times sim rate, I just think iFly aren't there yet. They're certainly not there when it comes to PMDG and their Boeing. But I don't want to be too overly hard on iFly, because this SP1 version of the 737-8 MAX is massively, humongously better than the original version that was released for 2020 and then 2024. And talking about that, I don't think this version that I'm currently flying in late June 2024 is fully 2024 native. I think that is still to come along with the MAX 9. So if iFly bring out a MAX 7 and a MAX 10 when those aircraft finally enter service in real life, I think they will have a very good lineup for the 737 MAXes. And if PMDG were to release a MAX variant of the 737s, would I buy it? Bet your bottom dollar I would, guys. Right, in the last episode, the last of the summer 2026, I attempt to land an Airbus A321 at the short runway at George Best, Belfast City Airport. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon if you want to be notified when that video is published. Thank you so much for watching.